Hi everyone, and welcome to the February 2020 edition of What I Eat in a Day on a Mediterranean Diet. Today we're going to concentrate on Greek food. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner are all going to be recipes from Greek cuisine. So for breakfast, we're going to make something called pastelli. I don't really get into breakfast that often, so this is a little sweetie that you can have with a cup of coffee. It's made with sesame seeds and honey. I've never made it before, so I hope it's going to be easy. We'll see how it goes. For lunch, we're going to make a spring-inspired Greek salad because the weather today was 61 degrees, so I'm really happy about that, even though it's February. And for dinner, we're going to make classic falafels, but we're not going to fry them, we're going to bake them. So I hope you enjoy today. Come along for the ride. I'm going to show you how to make pastelli. This is the first time I've made it too, so hopefully it'll be easy. It's little bars that you can make. You've probably seen them in stores where they're made out of sesame seeds and honey. And I bought already roasted sesame seeds. If you only have regular sesame seeds, you're going to need to roast them for a few minutes, but I thought it would make it much easier on myself to buy the ones that are already roasted. They're the same kind that I use when I make hummus. And I have some wildflower honey here. It takes a tiny bit of lemon juice, and I'm going to add some sunflower seeds and some pumpkin seeds just to mix it up a little bit. You can make them plain, you could add chopped nuts. I'm going to add the seeds. So let's see how easy this turns out to be. The first step is to take a half a cup of honey and a teaspoon of lemon juice. I have it in a small saucepan here, and we're going to bring it to a boil and let it boil for 5 minutes. It's starting to boil. Now we're going to let that go for 5 minutes. It gets nice and thinned down, so it's easier to work with. Now I'm going to add the sesame seeds and a little sprinkling of each of the other seeds, and then I'm going to let it continue to cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. While that's cooking, I prepared some wax paper. I hit this with some cooking spray, and I prepared another one for the top. I'm going to do the rolling pin method. I'm going to lay all the seeds out here, and then I'm going to put that on top and then use the rolling pin. Then I'm going to transfer it to a pan so I can put it in the refrigerator. Okay, now we're going to turn it out onto this pan. And you can see it's very liquidy, so I'm doing this in the pan. Gonna spread it out a little bit. Get as much of that out as I can. Be careful because it's really hot. Okay. So now I'm going to put the spray side down of the second sheet of paper. And I'm going to take a rolling pin. No, I'm not, because it doesn't fit in. Alright, my rolling pin doesn't fit, so I'm going to improvise. Just spread these out to the thickness that you want the bars to be. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier spreading it out with the paper on top, so this doesn't get all sticky. You want them to be nice and smooth. So into the refrigerator they go now for about a half hour, and then we'll cut them into pieces. Alright, it's been 30 minutes. See if this comes off easily. No. Okay, well this experiment was a bust. I can't get the paper off. It's all stuck all over it, and the little edges around the sides that I can actually pull off and taste really good. So I think I'm gonna have to try this again and maybe use parchment paper instead of the wax paper. Okay, well, I made the exact same mixture like I showed you before. Only this time I'm letting it cool a little before I do anything with it, before it gets hardened, of course. But I'm just putting it directly on this nonstick baking sheet, which I have painted with olive oil. Well, I spread the mixture out now, and I tried to shape it as nicely as I could. I pushed it up against the edge here so that I know I'll at least have one straight edge. Now I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for a half hour, and then we'll see if I can get it off of this pan in a half hour. 30 minutes later, we are out of the fridge. Let's see if we can detach this. Hey, look at that. I'm going to put it on a cutting board. Let's see what it looks like on the other side. Nice and smooth. Let me get my pizza cutter. See if we can cut this easily. There we go. There we go, pastelli. So they're pretty skinny. I think they came out perfectly. Mmm. Tastes great. Breakfast. For the dressing, I've combined 2 cloves of garlic that I've minced, about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, some salt and pepper, and a pinch of dill. And I'm just going to whisk that together with a fork. For the lettuces, I'm going to use some curly chicory and some escarole. Now, escarole you would normally think of as a soup vegetable because it has pretty thick stalks. But it actually works really well in a salad. You just have to make sure you clean it really well because it can be sandy. One of the greatest inventions ever, the salad spinner. I have the 2 lettuces in this salad bowl. I've added some Kalamata olives that I've chopped up. I didn't realize when I bought them they had the pits in them, so make sure you remove the pits. So I slice those up. I have some pepperoncini peppers. They're not super hot peppers, they're sort of more vinegary than they are hot, but they have a tiny bit of heat. So I sliced them up as well. I sprinkled on some feta cheese, so the only thing left to do is to pour on that garlicky dill dressing and toss it together. To make falafels, you want to use dried chickpeas, not the kind that come in a can, because they won't give you the right texture. So the night before, we soaked chickpeas. It was 2 dry cups of chickpeas, and we soaked them in water, and they've expanded, obviously. And that is the basis for this recipe. Here are the dried spices that we're adding to the falafel mixture. We have a tablespoon of ground cumin, a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of freshly cracked black pepper, and a half a teaspoon of cayenne. We've drained the chickpeas and we put them in a food processor. We're adding a dry cup of chopped parsley, 1 small onion, 2 cloves of garlic, all the spices that I've showed you earlier, and a tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice. And we're going to blitz this all together. So this is what it looks like when it's done processing. It's dry, but it's moist, and we're going to be able to form patties out of it. As you form the patties, just lay them out on the baking sheet. They're going to be a little messy, but that's okay. Just make them the size that you want them. Try to make them all even. And now we're just tapping a little bit of olive oil onto each one. And then we're going to put these in the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. We're going to flip them and then do another 15 minutes. Here's my recipe for tzatziki sauce. I didn't make as much as this recipe shows here, but the basic ingredients are low-fat Greek yogurt, the plain kind, the English cucumber that I grated on a box grater, some garlic, some extra virgin olive oil, some white wine vinegar, some dill, and some salt. And I'll show you now how I make it. I've grated the cucumber, and now I'm going to put it into a colander and sprinkle on some salt to try to get as much water out of it as I can. And then I'm going to put it into some paper towels and really give it a good squeeze and get out all of the water. In this bowl I have the yogurt, olive oil, vinegar, and garlic, and I'm going to stir this together until it's combined. This always looks like it's not going to mix together, but just keep stirring and it will eventually. Now I'm incorporating the dill and the cucumber, so just fold it all together. I like a lot of cucumber in my tzatziki. You can use a little less if you prefer. And you want to refrigerate this for a little while before you use it. To put in the falafels, we have some diced tomato, and we have some red onion slices and some Boston lettuce. Don't they look like little owl faces? Am I crazy? Doesn't it look like a little owl face? Here they are out of the oven. I'm going to break one in half and show you what they look like on the inside. Well, I filled my pita pocket with 3 of the falafels, some lettuce, some tomato, some red onion, and some tzatziki sauce. My pita pocket's kind of falling apart, so I can't put it down. I just wanted to show you what it looks like, because it's going to be a mess to eat, but I think it's going to taste really good. You can also get creative with them and don't need bread at all. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed Greek Day and all the food that came with it. I think for the next few months when I do these what I eat in a day videos, I'm going to pick a different country from the Mediterranean region. And of course, Greece is the #1 country you probably think of when it comes to the Mediterranean diet, right? So I thought we would start with Greece. I cook Italian food all the time, so we'll see what we get up to next. If you have a country that you would like me to do, just put it in the comments below and we'll see what we can do. Okay, I'll see you next time. Don't forget to share this video with your friends, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye.